Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to episode 215 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this episode is being brought to you by our latest Patreon supporters, Al Semler and Jared Jamieson. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for supporting the show. Your contributions help us with our hosting and our production costs and are greatly appreciated. And don't forget, you too can also just be like these two fine gentlemen and help support the show. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month. Everybody who is a financial Patreon supporter goes into the Patreon Wheel of Fortune to win terrific prizes. So go ahead and help support the show. And speaking of supporting the show, let's hear from our wonderful sponsor, the Scale Model Supply.
Hi, I'm Scott, the creator and owner of the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's largest manufacturer of hobby paints. Our premium airbrush-ready acrylic lacquer paints are designed specifically for use on plastics, with a comprehensive range covering all popular modelling subjects including military, aircraft, rail, auto, sci-fi and more. And not only that, but we also have a wide selection of essential hobby tools and now, Infinite Colour, our new range of water-based paints for miniatures. So to check out our range and to find your closest retailer, please visit our website at scalemodeler.com.au. So when quality matters, choose SMS Paints.
Hello everyone, welcome to On the Bench. My name is Alex and today I'm joining with Dave.
G'day, g'day, g'day.
Ian.
G'day everyone in Radioland.
And Julian.
Yeah, good morning.
It's actually podcast land, not radio land.
It's still the same, it's still the airways.
Well, no, it doesn't go through the air.
Well, isn't a podcast just a variation on your regularly scheduled radio program?
Yeah, exactly.
It is like a spiritual successor, I think.
Yeah,
Spiritual successor. Well, there you go.
Anyway, we have got a new producer today, and his name is Alex Johnston. Alex Johnston or Johnson?
STON.
Johnston. There you go.
Yes, there's three different variations depending on whether you're from England, Scotland or Ireland.
Oh, is that actually it? Okay. I thought it was just potato kind of a thing.
Look, microphone a bit closer. That's it.
Yeah, just local regionalisation.
Oh, okay.
So Alex is here being the producer of the show today because a couple of months ago there was a 48 for 48.
Yes.
48 and 48. And as everybody knows who attended that, there was a whole heap of things that were auctioned off. And one of the things that were auctioned off was to be producer for a day for OTB. And Alex won that particular bid with a sensationally huge bid.
Yep.
So, can I say how much it was?
You may.
He spent $600 he bid. He outbid a whole heap of other people, and of course all that money went straight to the charity Models for Heroes, which was sensational. And you're finally down from Queensland, so you're claiming your prize.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
You've actually chosen the subject for today as well. So what are we going to be talking about today, Mr. Producer?
So today in our discussion, we're going to be going through like rabbit holes and excessive attention to detail and like where do you draw the line and finding the balance between endless creativity and when it's appropriate to stop.
So Alex, you're pretty new to the listeners, as in they've only been listening to you for a couple of minutes now. So how about you just explain who you are, where you come from, and what you build?
Yeah, so I'm up from Brisbane. Lived there my whole life. Started modelling pretty early. Grade 3. I was obsessed with one particular book about the Titanic, and with all these beautiful paintings in it by Ken Marshall. So, and that Christmas I got a gifted a model of the Titanic for me to build, and it's just gone on from there. had to pause a bit during uni because just didn't have the time. But then during the pandemic, I picked it back up.
Yep.
And I've been going on with it since.
Cool.
What are your main sort of parts that you or parts of the hobby you like to model? You mainly aircraft, ships, tank, or what sort of?
So I usually focus on ships. So 700 scale.
Well done. Round of applause.
Need more shipbuilders.
You do.
Yes. I'm learning that. In Queensland in particular, there's not as big a market there, but yeah, and to balance that out, I also do aircraft. So usually 72nd scale, but if there's a right subject,
Kentucky Dave's going to love your 72nd scale aircraft.
Yeah.
Although for some reason I'm going with like props. I'm usually doing in 72nd scale, but lately I've started going to 48 scale on the jets, which for scaling reasons and storage space, you'd usually think it'd
be the other way around. Yes.
Are you mostly a jet kind of guy?
Mostly props, but
mostly props. Okay.
Yeah. I've done a few jets, and they're a nice breath of fresh air. Yeah, I don't like to get stuck into one thing. I do like to spread it around a little bit.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
very nice. So being from Queensland, you must be excited about QMHE, which is coming up in, I want to say 75 days time.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, Ian and I hanging out to get up there. Can't wait.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we had a great time last year.
Got our flight booked.
Yeah, flights all booked. Haven't got accommodation booked yet.
It's easy.
Better pull my finger out and get that sorted out.
That's sorted, mate. Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a great show. Yeah.
So anything else you build, Dave? Or is it just planes and
No, I'm Dave. That's Alex.
Alex, sorry. Yeah, we'll say professional here.
Yeah. Nah, I do like every now and then just something a little different just to keep things fresh. Like usually that's a car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Please don't say a car.
Cars. There's nothing wrong with cars.
Look, Dave, you only hate cars because I make cars.
You know how many emails I got about cars today?
Good, lots.
I think at least one.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, yeah. Didn't you were saying at breakfast that the cars are getting popular in Japan or something?
Well, it's not popular. It's so if anybody watch our good mate Clayton Ockerby and his YouTube channel, Workbench Hobbies. Thank you. He went to Shizuoka. It seemed
we should do a gag reel of how many times you stuck that name up.
It seems like everybody.
At this point, it's probably long enough to do a special episode.
Yes.
It seems like everybody I know went to Japan for that show this year. So Clayton went. Jodie from over in Western Australia went with her partner.
Yep.
Another guy just texted me or wrote in earlier on that he's just been back. Phil from Sprue Universe went, and also Lou from Aztec Dummy. They went over. So it looks like everybody went this year except for me. And I'm kicking myself because Clayton said, "Oh, do you want to come, Dave?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And I sort of looked at my schedule, and there was no way I could fit it in because I've got a trip overseas with Michelle planned for later on this year, and of course then I've got to get to the US again next year. So as much as I would love to, but it just seems like everybody went except for us.
Yeah,
we'll get there one day.
Well, I've been there, so
I haven't.
We need to get a press pass as well.
Anyway, you were saying about the show.
Oh yes, Clayton made the observation. He was not surprised, but maybe he was a little bit. You got to watch his YouTube episode on it. I think he was impressed about how many cars there were, like new model kit cars that are coming out. And he made the comment of how large it is in the Asian market compared to Australia, which I disagree a little bit because I reckon cars have come back in a huge way in recent years. And you just have to look at the Illawarra show, which we'll talk about later on in the show, that was on last weekend, I want to say. And Scale ACT, they have a ton of cars. Cars just seem to be making a huge comeback.
Well, so when you think about it, there's 3 manufacturers in Japan that cover cars. There's Hasegawa, and they make really good kits. There's Oshima, and there's Fujimi, right?
What about Tamiya?
Oh, yeah, and Tamiya. I mean, Tamiya make everything, right? But, I mean, it's almost like Oshima and Fujimi are very focused on cars. Like, almost their ships and things are kind of a side
gig.
Side hustle, you know? And as we all know, Hasegawa hasn't made much in the way of aircraft for a long time.
No.
So these days, I think Hasegawa's mostly making cars and a few other bits and bobs, but not aircraft.
Yeah.
None of the sort of big military items they were sort of known for in the past, at least over here. Yeah. And so, and plus, you sort of take into account, how like there's a sort of a correlation between an interest in a particular subject or era and as far as models go, and it comes a certain number of years after that's happened in real life. So, like the post-war generation were really into World War II.
Yep.
All the sort of kids in my generation grew up watching Top Gun, and that maybe they're more interested in jets.
Yep.
Things like that. And it's the same with cars. So, you've got people like me who grew up watching a lot of Japanese cars and things like that in media. So part of that is to play.
Yeah.
Well, God bless car modelers. They're just modelers who haven't found the true calling yet.
You've even this whole time I've been talking, you've just been cooking that one up, haven't you?
You wait till you wait next fortnight. All the emails are going to come in.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to be in so much trouble.
That's fine. So are you going to read the mail now, or what's the deal?
Should we do the mail now? Oh, no, we're going to talk about what we've been doing.
Oh,
Let's go through that.
Yeah, Alex, you kick off first.
Yep.
So
what have you been doing since we last saw you, Alex?
Since the 48 and 48 build.
Yes.
Had a crack at the ACT SMS blitz build over the Anzac Day holiday.
Tell us a little bit about that for those listeners who don't know what it is.
So the folks in Canberra, also behind Scale Act, they put in an annual blitz build, similar scope to the 48 and 48 of like you have a long weekend to build a kit, and they put on this year they opened it up to various clubs.
Yep.
I've joined up with IPMS Queensland, and we've got one of our guys who's moved up from Canberra who's promoting it. So he was okay, I'll jump on that. They had a Google Meet link that people could jump in and out of. So got to catch up with some of the folks from Canberra. I think there was some from Adelaide, Sydney, and one guy from New Zealand jumped in as well.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you been to Scale Act?
No, not yet.
Okay,
It's worth going. So what'd you build?
Being Anzac Day, I wanted to have a crack at the at something Australian, and the only thing Australian I had in my stash was a 48 scale growler. But it was an Italeri boxing, because that one had out of the box decals for a 100th anniversary scheme for one of the
because you know
ones.
how Italeri will do those boxings with the little sticker on it for the Aussie.
The Aussie
I do
one.
that a lot.
Yes, they had one for a 100th anniversary scheme for 6th Squadron, which is based just around the corner from me at Amberley.
Even better.
Had 77 hours to get that one. That was which got pretty close in the end. Had to leave some of the decals off the ordnance, and couldn't get weathering done. But it was pretty ambitious. So got pretty close. So
Oh, that's good.
Happy with it.
That's good.
Yep. And I also realized that in choosing dates for recording down here, I was like, oh, okay, I've got these 2 weeks off. I could be down here for the Saturday of 31st of May or the 7th of. Wait a minute. so I was like, I'll also throw something together for Scale Expo. So I've got a USS Bogue by
cool.
Tamir that I've brought down with me. Also got my first experience of transporting models via plane, and
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I have three bits of super glue to apply.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, learning experience.
See, that makes it easy for me because I build cars now. Like all military subjects will always have antennas and things all over them that will break off, but cars don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You should, you still got your Super B, don't you?
Oh, that thing, yeah.
That thing.
Not the Super. That's the Roadrunner. No, it is Super B. Sorry, yeah, Super B.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big blue thing.
You still haven't entered that in anything, have you?
Nah, it's not worth entering.
You should just enter it.
No, mate, the paint, it's been sitting out in the open too long. The paint's gone all icky.
Has it?
Yeah.
What do you mean icky?
Well, I used Hasegawa Gloss Clear on it.
You mean the Guns Gloss Clear? The
Yeah,
one,
the Guns Gloss
So
Clear,
it, Forever Tacky type stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Are you sure? It's not...
Yes.
I was in, are you sure it's, not good enough kind of thing?
Mm.
Okay. That's a shame.
I slapped it together. It was just a fun build.
Okay.
It wasn't like I'm going to build something for a comp. This is just a fun build.
Yeah, because you take your comps too seriously.
I know.
I don't discern between the two. I just do them to a standard, and then they'll go into a competition at some point.
So what you been doing then since?
Dave,
There we go. Got my mic switched off. So Ian, what have you been doing since last show?
Not much in building. I've been pretty crook for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I did do a bit of shopping though.
Of course he did.
So I picked up the new Edward 48 scale P51B with the Malcolm hood, the F4 F-4 Wildcat late, and about 16 items from Copper State Models, including a German Wanderer motorcycle and German Dispatch rider to go with it.
Very nice.
So it's a nice little package I arrived this week. So yeah, quite happy with that.
Sure.
So I've been working out on the I haven't been working on the Mini that the little
Mini Minor.
Yeah, the little car. Yeah. And it's just been sitting there, and I just see weeks and weeks and weeks just blow by, and I haven't touched this thing. So I decided, and since we're a week away from Model Expo, so I decided to give it to Christian. I said, "Here, do you want to finish this off?"
Oh, really?
yeah. Because it's just got all the major work's done to it. All the major work's done for it. I just ran out of care for it. Yeah. So I mean, it's just got little accessories that need to go on it, basically. So that everything inside.
Is this going to end up being like a Canberra Bomber Saga?
No. So
goes around
on the inside, the only thing that's not done is the steering wheel, and on the outside, all the paintwork's done. All the windows are in. The roof is just a separate piece that glues onto the top, and then it's just headlights, tail lights, fenders. It's got those little tiny over fenders, those little archy ones that go on.
Oh yeah.
The ones that just make it wider by like an inch or something. I don't know. Yeah, well, it's got those and grill and things like that. It's just little crap, and I just couldn't be bothered. I'm over it,
Yep.
So I gave it to him, and now I'm freed up. Weight off my chest. I can.
So you got nothing on your bench then?
No. Oh, sorry. I've still got the Tirana.
Yep.
Yeah, which I.
Is that thing painted yet?
It is painted. But that's all that's happened with it.
What colour did you go?
Green.
That lime green colour?
No. It's like a metallic green.
Ah.
Yeah, it's how do I describe it? It's sort of like a medium green, I guess you could say. It's not too light,
So
not
is it
too
one
dark.
of the little LJs or one of the A9Xs?
LJs, I
Or
think.
LC.
Yeah, maybe LC or something. Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's the one where in the grill it's got like a piece of colour that runs across, a strip of colour that runs through the middle of the grill horizontally.
I think that might be the LC.
Is it?
I think.
Yeah. I bought it thinking it would be the one with the nice mouth. You know, like the cool one. Like, was it
The LJ.
like the GTX or whatever it is or something like that? It's not.
GTR.
It's not. So that
GTR.
After having like painted the whole thing and it's looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's that one with the wrong grill in the front. I'm kind of losing my interest in it.
Oh, no.
So maybe I'll have to pick something else that's Aussie for the ACT show.
Yes.
You're going to have to.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Uh,
Anyway.
Yeah. So what about you, Mr. Dave?
Well,
So they're
it's been interesting, sort of.
Well, you've been away for a while.
Well, there's that. I've had a really strange and sort of odd sort of month. We lost a dog 4 months ago, and then we lost little CC a month ago, and that hit us pretty hard. And I've got to say, not only losing a dog, but when you come home and the house is empty, and it's just the worst sort of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to sort of hold off for a while before we got another one, and I was looking at dogs, and we found this little dog that we absolutely love, and so I went and bought him. So little Frankie has joined the family now.
Yep.
A little miniature pincher.
Yep.
And
Looks like a kangaroo.
really does.
So I noticed you were bribing him this morning with bacon.
Yeah, well, I've got to imprint myself on him.
Yeah. So he's 16 weeks old now, and he's just still in that mad sort of crazy puppy stage and running
everything's
around
an
and
adventure.
chewing everything, and everything's a laugh to him, and everything is something he can chew. So yeah, he's brought a lot of joy back into our lives, which is really good. I've also got deployed up to New South Wales. There was some awful flooding that occurred in New South Wales up on the Central Coast there about a week ago, and
And you got to meet the PM.
yeah, I met the Prime Minister.
He's
is what it is.
hobnobbing with the big league.
Yeah. So I was at Model Club last night, and we were all joking about, oh yeah, he's too good to hang out with us now. He's rubbing elbows with the Prime Minister, and
that's one of the things that always sort of impresses me about Australia. How the Prime Minister rocks up, and you can just walk up and say good day to him without sort of any issues, or without having to get through 6 rings of security or anything like that. The security's there, but it's out of the way and hidden, and unless you know what to look for, you don't see it. But
you don't see that red dot in the back of your head anyway.
So I was up there for a week, assisting as much as we could. It was interesting. I was based out of Metford, and then I went up to Taree. Taree's one of the places that got hit pretty
Is
bad.
that where we stopped off when we went to Queensland?
I think it was.
We had that really great Wagyu steak.
It might have been, yeah.
It was Taree.
It might have been Taree. And it's, oh God, I just don't know how these people can sort of go through this flooding, because the floodwater comes through. It's not only does it wash and wet everything in your house,
That's
but
mud.
it's the mud that comes through afterward with it. And if you don't clean it within the first 48 hours, it starts to dry and sets like concrete. And so what we do is we get fire trucks to come in and actually get the hoses and sort of blast it out with a fire hose, because it's the only way you can get it out.
Yeah, out of the house.
And some of these people have been hit, this is probably their third time in about 10 years that they've been sort of knocked down. And and they can't get insurance. If they could get insurance, it would be prohibitively expensive. I was talking to one guy. I knew of one guy had, I think it was a bakery up there, and for him to be insured for flood damage, it would cost him $40,000 a year. But most insurance companies just refuse to insure him. So I just don't know where they find the resilience, and
you think they start building all their houses on stilts?
well,
Like you do further up north.
yeah, there's initiatives to try and do buybacks, but and all that sort of stuff. But it just takes too long, and and my heart just goes out to them, and also to all the fantastic volunteers who are up there doing all their work and assisting and everything. And it's it's the best of times and worst of times at the same thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So there was that. I've done hardly any building because between my deployments and getting a new dog, and every time I open the model room up, he dashes in there and grabs at something and races out with it and starts chewing the crap out of it. So yeah, that's me for the last week.
Oh, there you go. So really, it's only been 2 people here that have actually managed to build it.
Well, it sounds that way. Yeah, Alex and Julian.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, I haven't been building anything. That's the point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Alex is the only one
on your
holding
shoulders,
the
mate.
But yeah, I want to get back into things.
Me too. I'm starting to feel better now, so I reckon I can probably hook back in.
I want to put everything aside and start something new. That's what I feel like doing.
Because I've done bugger all on that Emden. I mean, absolutely. Like I'm sitting there watching what Greg's doing.
Greg's leaving you to dust.
He's nearly done.
Yeah, I
and
know.
It's like, whoa.
I know.
And I'm thinking to myself, yeah,
Well, he hasn't started the rigging yet.
He has.
Oh, yeah, he started the rigging.
Oh, I haven't seen that one on his,
he's done all the rigging on the
Facebook
masts.
posts.
Looks amazing.
Yeah. He's a crazy fast builder.
Yeah.
All right. How about we have a quick break and we will go into listener mail because there is a ton of listener mail.
That sounds like a plan.
But before we do that, I need to do a huge shout out to SAMPA, South Australian Plastic Model Association. Fantastic bunch of guys.
They are.
Always
you
supporting
mean SAPMA?
I did say SAPMA.
You said Sampo. Oh, See?
Anywho,
Every freaking episode.
if you live in South Australia, please go and check out SAPMA, South Australian Plastic Model Association. Membership's only $40 a year and covers a membership card and entry to the 11 meetings that are held during the year. The meetings are a great place to meet other modelers and talk about all things modelling. You can also catch up on club activities, watch demonstration and various modelling techniques, and participate in the club raffle, and most important of all, build models. And of course, in October, they have the South Australian Model Expo, which is running on the 11th and 12th of October 2025. I'm not going to commit to say I am going. We said that last time, and personal circumstances came up which couldn't.
But it'd be nice if we could surprise the people by showing up.
Yes, so you never know. So put that in your calendar, guys. Model Expo in South Australia, 11th and 12th of October.
Yes.
And huge thanks to the guys in South Australia.
Great
for
bunch
their
of
support.
guys.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, let's have a quick break and we will come back and have a look at listener mail. Okay, and welcome back to the show. Let's have a look at some listener mail which has come in. Before we do that, though, let's not forget to announce the QMHE, Queensland Hobby Model Expo, which is coming up on the 16th and 17th of August this year at the Ipswich Event Centre, Ipswich Showgrounds, 81 Warwick Road, Ipswich. Put that in your calendar.
Yep.
Make sure you're there. And don't forget, if you've never entered before, just bring something along and enter it in. It's a great show. They really put you at ease. Lots of fantastic vendors there. And, of course, Ian and myself will be there.
Yep.
Of course, Alex will be there as well.
Yes.
I meet Alex in person. All right, let's have a look at some stuff that we got in. And the first one comes from is our good mate Craig Everson, who writes in, "Hi Dave, Ian and Julian. Just a quick email from this weekend's New South Wales Scale Model Show. And it's going well. It's early, and he actually wrote this while the show was on last weekend. Mm-hmm. And he attached some samples of some pictures, and the models on display were absolutely fantastic. And, of course, our good mate won the show with his model of HMS Dreadnought, and it was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, no, Greg did well.
Yep. Nice to see that there were some real space models there as well, so I was very impressed by that as well. And, of course, there's a car there for Julie to have a look at. The obligatory car model was put in there. So thanks for that. Also, I've got a few other people who wrote in as well so about the show, so we'll get to that. Next one comes from Dave Rowe, who writes, "Hi guys, love the show and look forward to the podcast every fortnight. Anyway, I thought this might be an interesting topic, and I'm not sure that's been discussed before. As I'm entering 2 models into Model Expo in Melbourne this year, and it's my first time entering, I have a few questions. How do you bring your models safely to the show? And what's the procedure to get your models onto the tables from the car park? One of mine is a diorama, and the other is on a largish base. Also, when you have more than one model, do you just bring them in one at a time to be put on the tables, or can you leave them somewhere safe whilst you get any subsequent models? Especially as I'll most likely be bringing them by myself to the show. I've printed copies of the reference material as recommended. Where do I leave that? Looking forward to hearing your advice and your suggestions. Thanks, Dave Rowe.
So I'll go with this one. I'll take this one. So basically, we usually will be there on the Friday night before, and what'll happen is you can bring your car much closer than otherwise, because on most of the regular days, everyone's parking out in the major car park, whereas on the Friday night, everyone brings their cars right in close to the building.
To the entrance,
and
yes.
to the entrance, to the entry. And you can obviously just walk at that extra distance in.
And to carry them, you just use a big tub.
Yeah, you
Get
don't
those big tubs from
You also
Bunnings.
don't need to go and do it all at once, I'm pretty sure. Like, you don't need to bring it all in. Like, if you've got like 20 models, I mean, you don't need to bring them all in at once. You can just bring a couple, go up to the front desk and sort your stuff out, and then after that, you can move them to wherever they need to be, right?
Yeah, with your reference materials, you just bring them along with your model, and there's always a basket or a box.
Yeah,
and so your reference materials.
You'll walk up to the counter. You'll say, "Okay, this is me, and this is my." I think they do like a QR code system these days, and then they'll give you the paperwork and things all printed out, and then there'll be like a separate table where people are putting all their references into the resealable plastic bags, and then I think you're on your own after that to find which table you're at.
Oh, no, don't they have scrutineers anymore?
No, they do. They generally have some guys who are there to assist you to take you to the table.
Yeah, they'll usually sort of help out, but it's not as formalised where people used to escort you to the table in question.
Right.
Yeah. But there's help there if you need it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you just look for the guys in the polo shirts.
Yeah.
They're always there to help everyone.
Yeah.
So that's a Model Expo.
And as for like transporting to the show, there's a few ways you can go about it. If you're like me and you build cars and you just throw them in a box and turn up. But if you build planes, there's a few different ways. So some people will say, okay, if you have like an open top box and you throw a bunch of plastic bags in the bottom of it and then put the plane just sitting on top, it'll be fine like that. And I've heard people take them on planes like that. Like when they fly interstate or into overseas and things, like you can do that and it won't get broken, supposedly. Apparently it works. The way I've seen it done is where you will have a box, you try to stand it vertically. This is for planes. And then you have like...
you make an insert with V's in it.
Yeah,
and you pad the V's out so the plane sits on its trailing edge on its main wings.
So you sort of...
So it sits upwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you got to make it so that like the plane is pointing vertically upwards, right? And then you have like two dividers, I should say, in like sort of the 2/3, 1/3 and 2/3. Slotted in there so that it'll go down on either side of the fuselage. Yeah. But sort of you don't want it. You can sort of adjust it because some planes will have twin engines or something like that, right? And the idea is that you place the wings into these slots that you've cut in these two dividers, and that's why so it holds it in those and it won't move around. And any forces in your car or whatever will be absorbed,
mitigated.
Mitigated, yes, by the fact that it's not sort of horizontal.
Yeah, because you run the risk of your undercarriage breaking.
Yeah, if you do it like that, I've heard of people who have gotten into car accidents while their models were transported like this, and with no breakages.
What about armour?
With armour, I mean, just throw them in a box, right?
Yeah, just chuck
as long
it
as
in a box.
you just got to make sure that like any antennas and stuff have enough like ceiling clearance, so to speak. Within the box, I've had, I've got a Sherman with a mangled antenna because of the way it was going. I even had like a little, you know what I did? I cut like what do you call it? The old-fashioned Q-tip cotton bud things.
Yeah.
Back when they used to have the plastic
Yes.
centerpiece,
Yes, yes.
and it was a tube.
Yeah.
I cut the ends off that, and I slipped that over the top of the antenna to stop it from getting mangled, and it still somehow got mangled.
Or you can use the old trick for the antenna, use a cat whisker. That way it won't. It can get bent.
Stop that.
It's true. I'm telling you, it's a thing.
Yeah, okay.
And now that Ian's got a cat, you can build as many antennas as you want.
Yeah.
This episode not sponsored by Peter.
Well, they would never condone it, but they've done worse.
No, you fight. You don't pluck the whisker out of the cat. You look because cats drop whiskers, so you gotta just hunt around for.
Oh, so it's like the difference between like
Good luck with that.
picking fruit and then vegan fruit that's picked off the floor or something.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Moving on.
Anywho. Well, I hope that's answered some questions there for you, Dave.
Yeah, Dave. I hope that is certainly answered.
And
the
good
question
luck.
for you.
And good luck at Expo.
Yep. And the guys here will certainly help you. So there's no issue in bringing one in, putting it down, and then going back to the car and getting another one.
You know what? I've never had to transport a ship, and
I have.
Oh, I've done it a few times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're easy. They're easy.
are they?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had one of those ships with a lot of like really high flying like wire type stuff, like
Yeah.
in towers and masts and things like that.
Yeah,
'Cause that seems hairy.
There's a couple different ways. So if it's, it depends whether it's mounted to a base or the base. It's free from a base. So if it's free from a base, I will cut out like a in foam for it to actually sit in, and it'll just nestle in there quite nicely, and it won't move around.
Mm-hmm.
If it's mounted to a base, then obviously you secure the base in such a way that the base won't move, and just put it in a box and carry it in.
Right.
So
Okay.
easy peasy. All right. Next email comes from Stephen. And Stephen writes, "Hi guys, love your work. Keep it up. Over the last year in New Zealand, I've been coming across and buying several 1/24th scale aeroplanes, and I also have an interest in 1/24th scale automotive. So, do you have any ideas on what I could pair with some of my stash? Hint, the P51 Mustang is an obvious one. I already have the AMT 67 Mustang GT Fastback. Also, he talks about the FX Supermarine Spitfire. I was in... what one's that? The Mark
okay.
9.
Oh, I know. Yep.
I can see what he's sort of getting
Yeah.
at. He's looking to pair a car with a plane
Yep.
in the same scale. And so he's paired a Mustang with a Mustang. And
All right, Spitfire Mark 9C. I would probably either go
MGB
MGB
or a
Bentley Blower.
Oh, yeah, Bentley Blower.
or a Jaguar E-Type, like the one I recently built.
Nah, too late.
Yeah.
Is it too late?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too late.
Yeah.
Oh, but then again, he's got a 67 Mustang with a
Yeah. So I don't think the year matters.
Yeah.
So he's just looking to pair sort of
Yep.
like.
Like for like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I would go the Bentley Blower for the Spitfire, the MGB for the Hurricane, Messerschmitt 109E.
Maybe a
Probably
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mercedes.
Oh, hang on. You'd have to go BMW because
No,
it's a
no,
BMW
I'd
motor.
go Junkers. I'd go BMW.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So for the Messerschmitt, I would get the Mercedes Gullwing,
Yes.
SL
Oh,
Gullwing.
yes. That's a
Right,
good
yeah.
one. Does it come in the same scale, though? 24 scale?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And then for Stuka,
hang on. Wouldn't you do the gull wing for the Stuka? Because the wings are like the...
No.
Yeah.
I think because it's too cool of a car to be paired with a Stuka. Stuka's not like fighter with fighter kind of a feeling, and then since the Stuka's a dive bomber, you would something and it's it's a very sort of cantankerous sort of shape, So you would want something a bit more sort of less cool and more serious.
Oh, actually, no. Let me retract that. I would probably go with the Auto Union racing car for the Messerschmitt.
Right.
One of the early 40s Auto Unions, the big silver ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and then I would go, as Dave said, the Gullwing for the Stuka.
You'd have to match. So if it's an American aircraft, you have to have an American car.
Yep, British.
German aircraft, German
German.
car. British aircraft, British
Yep.
car, yeah.
Yep.
As long as you follow that, I think you'd be fairly well right.
I don't know. There's a few BMW kits kicking around. Maybe you would want to go like an E30 M3. I think there's a kit for that.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other way you could go is an Audi, right?
No, that's Italian.
Audi.
That's
Audi.
German.
Oh, sorry, German. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking
Das
Alfa
Werk.
Romeo.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you could go an Audi.
I think I'll just
But
shut up.
I don't think something like, say, like the Audi rally cars, really pair with like a World War II plane.
No, not at all. Not at all. They've got to be sports cars.
Mm.
But that's the way I'd go anyway.
All right.
No worries, Steve.
Anyway, Smithy, thanks for that, mate.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is a
Can
very
you think
cool
about that
one.
for the rest of the day now?
Next one comes from Eric Kinzer, Dear Benchers, episode 214 mailbag. I too have recently been to the French Air and Space Museum at Le Bourget airfield.
So they get included a little thing so that they would know how to pronounce that.
Number one, it does require a metro and a bus connection, but it's worth it. It's lightly attended. There are a large collection of hella kits in the gift shop.
Of course,
yeah.
being French.
An interesting exhibit of French pilots who flew for the Soviet Union during the war. But that's interesting. I never knew that happened.
Yeah, the Yak 3s, the Normandy Niemen Regiment.
Flew for the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Did you see those, seen the Yak 3s, and they've got like the French pompadour, whatever it is, the dude with the long nose and the red
seriously?
and white hat behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. And the red, white and blue spinners.
Well, hang
They're
on.
all
So
Frenchies.
why were French pilots flying for the Soviet? Did they escape to the Soviet Union?
More likely, although maybe they were just handed over to the Soviets for the...
I'm going to have to go to La Bourget when I'm over there in January, February. Have a
Yeah.
look. I'll report back. And he also says, many planes and rockets. You can stand next to an Ariane 5. Oh, be still my beating heart. All from all eras, both inside and on the tarmac. Definitely a French orientation, though, not exclusively. And my personal favourite diorama of how French used kites carrying an observer over the trenches in World War One. I thought this was the coolest diorama I've ever seen. And he actually posted a photo of it.
you're going to see this.
I do. Let me try and see if I can get this photo up. Oh, there we go.
Oh, well, now that looks hairy.
Oh, that's a better looking, a safer looking kite than what I would have imagined. I'm literally thinking.
So it looks like, you know how the Chinese do those multiple kites sort of stacked up? It's like that.
It's a bit like a box kite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
a
gonna
box
say,
kite with wings.
Kind of looks like the front of the original Wright brothers flight. They just took that
Yes.
section and linked multiple of those together.
Yes.
So can you imagine the conversation? Prophet Le Boer, I want you to do this. You want me to do what?
Sucker blue.
P.S. While in Centre Paris, check out Musée des Arts et Métiers, Museum of the Arts and Crafts, as it has a few outstanding early aeroplanes, notably Burlet,
There's a description.
Blériot.
and a clock that can tell the time in both 24-hour units and a revolutionary decimal units. In fact, Napoleon tried to bring in a decimal timescale.
Did he?
It was universally hated.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Some of that might have involved like 10 days in a week, because they took power away from the church, because the church was doing the whole one rest day in 7 days. So
Yeah.
in cutting the church out of the running of the state, that was like, oh, we can put 10 days in a week now.
10-day weeks. I don't like that idea at
No,
all.
me neither.
That's why Napoleon lost.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Eric. And Eric comes from Mino Park, California. Thanks
Cool.
for that. Excellent. Let's have a look at the next one. No, not that one, because that's something else I've got to do. Here we go. Hey, guys. Great last episode, but I had to laugh at Julian's comment on the insanity buy. Yes, I think we all have one of those or more. Mine,
For reference, I don't remember saying that. I probably did it, but I can't remember it now.
Mine is a 1/45th scale Billings boat model of the Calypso, which was Jacques Cousteau's legendary home on the seas. I bought it about 20 years ago for $600. Wow.
Yeah, but a big boat too.
Well,
that scale.
It's half built and has travelled from Brisbane to Perth to Melbourne and back to Brisbane as we moved over the years. I would get rid of it. Would I get rid of it? No chance. My love for the subject won't let me. Plus, he spent a lot of bloody money on it. It's one of those kits that I will finish one day when I have the room for it to display. Duke, it's over 1 metre long. Wow.
Whoa.
Love listening to you guys. Keep up the awesome work. And that's our good mate, Ben Flood. Thanks, Ben. And he's been doing some cracking work on some figures lately.
Yeah, that Henry VIII bust, that figure, that looks
pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah. And such a terrific guy too.
Yeah, looking forward to catching up with him in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
definitely. I can't help but think that he's got a boat that's 1 metre long, and then most of the time he's doing like figures and busts and things, which would just one. You could fit how many 20, 30 busts. Figures and busts in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could actually build the boat and then populate it.
Yes,
with figures.
Good. You could.
1/45th scale.
Boy, that's big.
Next one comes from Jason Hanscom, who writes in, "Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Jason, and I'm one of the co-hosts of the Scale Model Car podcast. I wanted to reach out and say I'm a huge fan of the pod.
Thank you.
And say thank you for being one of the main inspirations for me jumping into the podcast I'm a part of. Also, on episode 214, you guys were talking about museums and how we here in the States have a lot of them. They certainly do, and have some of the best museums I've ever seen.
Yes, the ones we went to when we were over were just amazing.
The Americans know how to do museums, I'll tell you that. He goes on to say, one of my all-time favourites is the American Heritage Museum in Hudson, Massachusetts. It is the most impressive collections of armour, aircraft and automobiles I've ever seen, all housed indoors. Our local IPMS club hold a show there, and I always find myself spending more time in the museum than at the actual show. Thanks for all you do, guys. Sincerely, Jason from the Scale Model Podcast.
Model Car Podcast.
I said that, didn't I?
You said Model Podcast.
Thanks, Julian. Thank God I had
the car's
you.
the important bit.
Well,
that's what they're about.
I was trying to ignore that bit. We've had enough car talk this episode.
Listen, all right? There's absolutely no reason why you should be so anti-cars. You own a car.
I am not anti-car at all.
I know. I'm feeling some discrimination coming from you, Dave.
Car model is just somebody who hasn't found their true calling yet.
No, I think Dave's just scared of building one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all
He's worried about having to get a perfect paint job.
I was actually in, let me think. I think it was, I want to say Seattle. I was in Tacoma. And there was a huge car museum right near there that I didn't get the chance to go and see. And I want to say maybe Jay Leno or something has got something to do with it. I don't know. Somebody will write in and correct me, I hope. So, apparently it's an awesome sort of...
I'd love to go to the Shelby American Museum.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Where is it, do you know?
No, I'd have to have a look. I'd find it.
Dave, this trip of yours to Seattle was in what year? 1994?
Well, no, it's about 2006, 2007.
Okay. A long time ago, though.
Well, to you it might seem a long time ago.
Well, it's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like that to me.
No,
I was over there on a study tour.
Study tour?
Yeah, I was. I was gallivanting around the country.
Another car museum that I've been to is the Mercedes Museum in Stuttgart.
Oh, yeah?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a really good one because they go right back from there. So they take you up to the top of the building where they introduce you to their first prototype, and then spiraling down the building, running through the history of Mercedes and all the cars they've produced.
Oh, so is that the building that is basically it's a big spiral that just goes down? Is it used to like a test track?
No.
Where was that? I know there was some factory.
I think you're thinking of the Fiat factory back in the day.
Yeah,
the rooftop had a track on it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that was a really interesting one because down the bottom, because in the 30s, Mercedes were doing a lot of work on like cracking land speed records. So you can see these ones that are like really low and sleek that like very much similar to something you'd find from a top tier sports car manufacturer today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, if you're ever in Germany, that's worth a look.
Yeah, I think there's also Porsche's got a museum in Stuttgart as well.
Yeah,
it's a fairly like modern building, like where it's all white and jagged looking and all the rest. It's a fairly recent-ish addition. Mm-hmm. But I've never been to Germany yet. So
no, I may know that.
Maybe have
got
to
close, got within 10 k's.
Okay. And then went, that's close enough, and turn around, walk back the way you came.
I went to see. Well, that's back when I was a kid. Went to where my dad grew up in the good old the Dutchy Holland. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was good.
Anyway,
Craig Everson. Well, I can put my microphone back on. Sorry. Craig Everson writes in again. This is a follow-up email about the New South Wales Scale Model Show. There were 310 kits on the table,
nice.
A good number of vendors. It was great to catch up with Scott from SMS, who was there on the day. It's always great to chat with Scott. If you're ever in Australia and go to a show and you see Scott from SMS, go up and have a chat and say g'day, because he's the most friendliest guy you can talk to. Mm. And the dude is seriously uber awesome at painting dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah. His dinosaur models are freaking amazing.
Yeah, dinosaur man.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And Craig goes on. I spent most of the day with my good friend Ray Davis, who's a good friend of our show. The swap and sell was buzzing, but it slowed down a bit on the Saturday. Most of the stuff looks like it might have been sold out.
Slowed down on Sunday.
Slowed down Sunday, sorry. They had an open system of judging with gold, silver, bronze. Best in the show was the gorgeous 1350 scale Dreadnought by our good mate, as well as my entries for a Bandai B-Wing, which got gold in Star Wars vehicles.
Congrats.
Sensational. And my Tiananmen Square Tribute, Bravery, got a silver in vignettes. And he did a Russia Winter diorama, which got silver in dioramas. That is sensational going, Craig. So well
congrats,
done,
mate.
Yes.
We got to try and make it up there.
Yeah. So many shows we've got to try and get to.
So many shows, so little time. I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing from another podcast, but never mind. Andrew Haas writes in. Haas. Sorry, Andrew. G'day, Podfather, Pod Uncles, and fellow benches.
Pod Uncles. There we go. Pod Uncles. Oh, that's a new one.
Firstly, not sure if you're recording this weekend due to me, Dave, being in Northern New South Wales, which I am. I'm back. Yes, seriously, you were spotted by many of your fellow modelers on Prime TV schmoozing with Albo, the Aussie Prime Minister. No, it wasn't. Seriously, though, a big thank you to Dave and all the interstate personnel resources helping the devastated communities. Many of my comrades in Fire Rescue New South Wales are on the task force up there, and I know we appreciate all of them for the help. Secondly, let me say thank you for replaying my SpeakPipe message about New South Wales show on episode 213. Much appreciated. Not at all. And if you do want to send us a voicemail, I'm still using SpeakPipe and I've got it open still. So just click the link on the show notes and you can leave a message for us to play on the show.
Yep.
Andrew goes on. We had great 2 days at the show, and I've got some stats to share with you. There were 313 models entered for the competition across 70 categories from 125 participants, including juniors, but I'm not sure how many juniors we ended up with. Julian will be pleased to know that the category with the highest number of entries was civilian vehicles, street, all scales, with 25 models entered.
Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
This was closely followed by a civilian motorsport, all scales, with 20 entries. In this category, a certain group fielded 10 rally cars to great effect. Yes, I know who that group is, the Corner Cutters. Photos of many outstanding competition and display models have been posted all over social media. And I must congratulate Bacon Bits on his outstanding 1350 scale HMS Dreadnought, which won Best in Show. The swap and sell was absolutely humming with the wall of kits steadily declining over the 2 days. Excellent vendors who attended, including Star Hobbies, Spec Mod, the War Librarian, and the ever-present Scott from SMS. So, great show, excellent models, great vibe, and catching up with modelling mates. That's cheers. Cheers, gents. That's all from Andrew from Wollongong.
Very cool.
Last but not least, we have an email from Dave.
I think you need a drink, Dave.
Oh, this is the last email, so I'll push
This
through.
is a long email.
Hi, Dave, Ian and Julian. I have now finally caught up on all of the back episodes of On the Bench.
Oh, my.
And thoroughly enjoyed your journey. May it long continue.
Thank you.
It was perfect timing then that in episode 214 you had Paul Pentland Brown on the show to promote his new podcast, Beyond the Box Art. With another early morning drive last weekend to a car race event, I took the plunge and listened to their first episode. I found it very enjoyable with their good-natured banter, easy to listen to, although I couldn't help think that most of the other team members' accents sounded like listening to an episode of The Hairy Bikers. There were some funny moments, including one where someone was describing their first model kit, something in a bag from the old-timey days of Airfix. There was a rustling sound, which I thought was him having obtained another example of his first kit and was perhaps opening it while they were recording. I'm fairly sure, though, that it was him opening a packet of crisps. Very amusing. And I'll be listening to future episodes, so thank you for introducing them onto the podcast scene. I must say, too, that I was a little concerned that I had found a new drinking game with the amount of time that Paul used the word absolutely on your show. Paul always says absolutely. Take a shot of your favourite drink. But thankfully, this did not carry over into their show. Seriously, though, I really enjoyed it. Keep up the great work. You guys really know how to build and foster a great modelling community. That's best wishes from David Langfield from Enfield, South Australia.
Cool.
Very good. And that's it for
Listener mail.
Listener mail. And, of course, if you want to send us an email, you can. Simply write to onthebench64@gmail.com. More than happy to receive all of your emails. And don't forget, of course, we have SpeakPipe. So just click the link and leave a message, and we quite happily play it over the air, so long as, of course, it's nice and clean.
Yes.
All right. Before we get into our topic today, we need to do the Patreon Wheel of Fortune.
Diddling.
So, of course, Patreon Wheel of Fortune is for all of those who financially contribute to our Patreon.
Yep. And
they go into the draw for some fantastic prizes. And I think this time we will do... should we do a T-shirt or should we do a T-shirt? All right. Do a T-shirt. So let's see who's actually going to be the winner. As that wheel spins around and a name finally comes up. And it is Charles Rice.
Hey, ding,
well
ding,
done,
ding, ding,
Charles.
ding.
I'll be in contact with you shortly.
Get
and
your shirt size.
Yep, and also your postal address, more importantly. Okay, done. Should we have a quick break before we move on to our main topic? Well, Mr. Producer, are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Very good.
Congratulations, Charles.
All right, back very shortly. Okay, Alex, Mr. Producer, what's next in the show?
Yeah, so we're just going to have a little roundtable discussion about some of the rabbit holes we can find ourselves in this hobby, going into like endless attention to detail and endless creativity, and just discussing on finding the balance in our hobby, and when is it appropriate to stop. So yeah.
Well, it's
well, okay.
Where's the starting point?
yeah. I mean, there's distractions. Let's kick off with the distraction. You know how far down to go, and I'm going to look at Ian when I say this because both of us being shipbuilders,
I go overboard.
you can go way down
I
this
go
huge rabbit
way
hole.
and spend so. The thing with ships though is, you go. It's financially.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go
Yeah.
freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I've got some projects there. I've invested over $1,000.
Well, look at just the I think it's the trumpeter, the latest US aircraft carrier.
Gerald R. Ford.
Gerald R. Ford. $500 Aussie?
Just shy of 600.
Just shy of $600, yeah, for one 350 scale kit.
And then you think of all the PE sets and
Well, actually, it comes with
aftermarket
PE and comes with, I think, a full aircraft complement already.
Yes. Yeah. So, couple. Yeah, a month or so ago. We had a guy bring that kit into our club and show it off. And yes, it's massive, but it's like incredibly well detailed and all the slide molding and all that. And so they do give you a lot to work with. But another thing of that is like it's trumpeter, and as I found out on some other projects, you either take it at face value or like you look into it and you discover like that's wrong, need to fix that, that's wrong. So I actually had that experience with I bought a 350 scale USS Yorktown CV5 the I Love kit, which is trumpeter under the third mask.
Yes.
So and got the references for that one, because that was one where it was like, I really like the story of the Yorktown, and I want to do this kit justice. Anyway, opened it up and just looked at the stern and all the supports, and like compared it to photos, like that's wrong, that's wrong, and like, and that project is basically stalled for me.
I guess some of the rabbit holes too is that, if it depends how accurate you want to be. So if your aim is to make it 100% accurate, we all know there's very few sort of model makers that actually do a true representative 100% accurate sort of kit.
Yeah, everyone's got their own sort of threshold, right?
Yes, exactly.
Plus, you got restrictions what you can do with injection molding.
And yes.
There's also restrictions of what you can do with everything else, with photo etch. Like sometimes, like, okay, well, the plastic parts are overscale and the photo etch parts are flat and not actually three-dimensional.
I am not a huge fan of photo etch anti-aircraft guns.
Yeah,
that doesn't.
Unless they've got the actual turned barrels.
Yeah,
there's nothing I hate more than flat barrels.
You have bought 3D printed weapons.
Yes, I
turrets.
have. Yes.
Yeah,
and they're freaking nice. I bought some for me HMAS Australia 2 build. They are really nice.
Have you started that? Or
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Where am I going to build? I've got no room.
That's true.
I know. So sort of trying to keep this on track with the particular. I went into like quite a bit of effort, because I'm not really one for scratch building, right? And sometimes that's the only recourse when what's available doesn't cater to your needs, or there is nothing that caters to your needs. So you have to go it your own way.
Yeah, but Murphy's Law is as soon as you finish scratch building the part, it's going to come out aftermarket.
Well, it depends on like what you're talking about. Like, so for example, when I did the Galant, I did the I had some nickel plated wire that I bent up and put it in the grill.
Yes, around for the
because what they'd given me in the kit was just decals that were silver, and putting them in a place where it didn't really want to be in any case, and it didn't give it the right look. And even though I did a pretty sort of my super gluing of that wire into place wasn't great, and the fact that I had to put something like 8 different bends in one piece of wire for each of these hoops that I had to put in there, because it's kind of like the way I would describe it is it's a bit like a BMW grill where it's got like 2 loops.
Yep.
But they're 3-dimensional, not 2-dimensional.
Yeah.
So you had to sort of bend it in a lot of different ways, not just the 4 corners of it.
Yep.
That had me regretting making that choice. But I do think that if I had to do it again, I would still do it, because that's the only way to really get that impression.
Yeah.
It's the only way to do it, because it's just completely inadequate to do it without.
Yeah.
So what choice do you have? What choice do you have? It's the most iconic. It's the face of the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the nose of the face of the car.
Yep.
So, you know,
Well, you didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, like, so as far as like going into super detailing, I mean, that was one where it had to be done no matter what, or it was just don't do the kit, pick something else, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get that choice after you've bought the kit, right?
Yes.
So what do you do then? I bought an Eduard Boxing. I think it was it MiG, one of the MiG planes that it's a trumpeter kit that they reboxed, and it was all because, you know, like Eduard's a Czech company, and so it was their.
But Edward makes their own MiGs. It was a MiG
it was
21.
a MiG Forger, I think it is.
Oh right, yep.
Yeah, and so they'd done their, but the problem was all of the ones that they provided were ground attack ones. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing. That was the whole deal. It was the ground attack variant, but the kit itself was not a ground attack variant. The entire nose forward from the intakes is completely different on the ground attack version.
It is, yes.
And they
It's
didn't.
flatter, isn't it?
Huh?
It's flatter.
Yeah, and it's got a whole lot of different things, different canopy even.
Yep.
So it's like, well, all of this is wrong. Like a third of the kit is completely wrong, and I just had to go, well, I guess I'm selling this on to someone else.
Someone else's problem.
Yeah, because there was no recourse.
Yeah.
I think that, well, for me, some of the challenges are that when I'm building a particular model is to not get distracted and want to start on another model. So I've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 projects going at the same time.
And then you run into the same problem on each of them.
No,
and then and then you've got 3 dead ends.
Well, sometimes in that case, you just have to pull out the mojo buster, where like right out of the gate you're thinking you're making the decision. I am not going to think about this one. I'm just going to do it for the sake of building.
Yeah.
Usually I end up in the situation where I've got 4 or 5 going at once because I've stalled on one or lost interest, so I've picked up another one to do a mojo bust and got to the same point in there and got bored again, and then go back and get another one that's sort of so. But what I do find, if I put one aside because I'm stuck, and I put it aside for a week, 2 weeks, even 3 or 4 weeks, I'll pull it out of the box and go, oh, I know how to do that. And you find it's not as hard as I thought it was at the time.
Yeah, I remember when I had the Dragon Stug 3, and I started that and put it back in its box, had it all ready for painting stage basically, and just for some reason put it back in the box. And that's where it sat for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Until one day I rediscovered it and gone, oh, hang on, I remember I started this. I better paint it.
You know, I think that only works, or at least it would only work for me, if I'd completely forgotten about it.
Which I had.
So, like, your memory has to be completely wiped, and then you examine it fresh for the first time, and you go, oh, actually, a lot of stuff has already been done on this.
Yeah.
And I don't need to do it.
Yeah.
It's like having a head start.
Which it was.
Yeah.
It was great.
And hopefully you've gained enough skills or enough, sort of confidence in your skills that, whatever held you up in the first place isn't going to hold you up this time.
Yes. Yeah. Your skills have improved, and you should be able to knock it over the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
It hasn't happened to me yet, but I imagine it happening. Because otherwise, if that's not going to happen down the road, then I should just throw it in the bin right now.
Yes. Now, I find one of the biggest distractions I have is having me PC on my same desk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you sit there, you look at movies, or are you looking at other stuff to buy?
I usually have like...
Yeah, that's how I imagine.
No, you hit the nail on the head. I'm a sucker for buying shit. It's basically like I'll be watching something on YouTube, have something on YouTube playing in the background, and it'll just get interesting. It's like, oh, hang on. I'll just turn my head. And that's the end of the model building session for the day. Because I've just, oh, shiny. Okay, look at this.
Yeah. Yeah. You get distracted so easily, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that thing where, like, if you're writing something, you're focusing on words with your eyes, so it's not helpful to have words coming in your ears.
Yes.
So you just pick it. Yeah, so like at work, I have that sort of thing of like, if you're writing an email or a report, you just put the put the instrumental music on. Whereas if you're doing something with numbers, then you pop the podcast on.
Yep.
Oh, really? You can do that. You can work with numbers and have podcasts going, and it doesn't distract you.
Because one part of your brain's focusing on your eyes are focusing on the numbers, and your ears are handling the words. Whereas if both eyes and ears are handling different sets of words, that's where things
your brain gets tied up in a knot.
Yeah.
I find when I'm modelling, I've got a podcast on, particularly a modelling podcast, and they talk about something, and I go, oh, like a new model, and that'll distract me to go off and have a look at that particular model online.
See, I think I have to find like material that's actually
relevant.
No, boring.
Oh, right.
Something that's not intrusive, and I can just have it drone on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I have to have it, Like I have to find...
Like Dave at the moment. He's like, we're chatting away, and what's Dave doing?
Yeah, I know. It's because
he's sitting there on B&A, checking out... What are you checking out? A Tupolev or something?
It's a 1/72 scale drone. It's a Tupolev 141 Stritz jet drone, resin construction from Brengen.
It's basically just a rocket with wings.
And Dave's going to buy it?
Except I've just realised I've put 2 in my basket for some reason, so I've got to go in my basket and...
He's buying kids while we're talking.
He's right on topic, aren't you, Dave?
Oh, well, I'm distracted, so, yeah. So, add to cart, view cart, so I've definitely got one in there. Okay.
All
right.
Laughing.
Keep going.
Back to it. And it says if you spend $113 more, Dave, you get free shipping. So
I know.
Oh. So,
go on.
generally speaking, there are things, sometimes I run out of room. So I don't buy things, right? I know you don't know what that's like, Ian, because you keep buying things even though you've run out of space.
I know.
But so this also applies to me when it comes to materials. So, for example, it's like, well, how much do I really want to go into like buying all this aftermarket and like bits of styrene and sheets of this and etc., because it's just like, where do you put all this crap? If I ferret it away into too many corners, I'll never know that I've got it, and then I'll never get to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought some new storage the other day.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Yeah, so Super Cheap Auto had a tool chest for $200.
That's the one you showed me.
Yes.
Is that the same one that our mate from the other side of Melbourne got?
I don't know.
The red one?
I don't know.
Is
No,
it red?
my one's black.
Okay.
I think it only comes in black.
Right.
It's 660 across. So that's usually how you sort of judge how big... Because when you look at them in a catalogue or on the internet, they all look like they're the same.
Yeah, I know.
They got a few different features, like maybe they'll be like, 4 drawers instead of 6 or something like that, But like the way the top opens is a bit different on some. Some will have like the little scissor things that hold it open, and some will have the gas struts, right? In any case, this one's quite big without being too expensive because they've constantly got it on half price. Mm-hmm. And I bought it for $200, even though it's supposed to be $400 normally. I think.
Nice.
And it fits perfectly in the corner where my desk is. And I'm like looking at it. I haven't put much in it yet, but I've got space to put things. And so I'll be able to sort of expand on like little bits and bobs and things that I can put in there. And because I've already got most of my tools and things, a place for them to live.
Yep.
But I need space for other things. And the little top section is good for putting a kit that I've currently got in progress so that it doesn't get covered in dust.
Yes.
That's why I bought it. Because it's got quite a large ceiling height for things that get put in there. The only problem is it's not quite tall enough that I can put the alligator clips on stalks.
Yep.
With the thing that holds them, the cardboard thing.
Yep.
I can't put that in there and then close it. It's too tall.
It's not tall.
I tried that, and then like the parts came flying off the little alligator clips. I'm like, no, that's no good.
No, I think the thing that holds me back the most at the moment is I've got absolutely nowhere I can put my kits when they're built.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely nowhere
Yeah.
I can put built kits.
Well,
so whatever I build ends up having to go in a box and get stored.
Yeah. So anyway, I bought this thing, and I've got like room to put like sheet styrene, bits of like rod and stock
Yep.
what different gauges of wire and brass rod and things like that. I've got places for that now, so hopefully I might be able, because that's one thing that's been holding me back from super detailing, because I want to do some diorama elements to put my car models in front of.
Yep.
For photography purposes.
Like some backdrops.
But a lot of that, you're on your own. There aren't any prefabricated like shop fronts and things like that.
Not many. There's a few, but not many.
Yeah, and a lot of them are not in 1/24th scale.
Yeah,
and so you have to go it alone. You have to make your own things, and you have to start buying up sheet and square rod stock and things like that.
Corrugated
to build it out of, and it's like, well, where am I going to put that? Well, now I've got a place to put it. So hopefully that's solved one step in the larger problem to getting there and getting that done.
So here's the thing. I'm going to roll this hand grenade out on the table.
Uh-oh.
Doesn't matter if we get distracted, because at the end of the day, we're doing what we love. We're sitting on the bench building stuff. Doesn't matter.
Well, it's not a job, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, lives don't depend on it.
Oh, Alex.
So my job is a structural engineer, so designing buildings, and I've been doing it for like eight years now. And
now that you've said that, I'm glad you've told me about what you do when you do numbers against what you do words, because I feel a lot safer about going into a building now.
Yes, yeah. Well, part of my job is like, so I've realized that there is a lot of overlap between structural engineering and scale modeling. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things, like I'll like create like sticks and dots in the computer to represent what your concrete and steel is doing. That's like you're building a model of the building in the computer, which is like very very similar to like you're building it up in plastic, and then and then you have your whole you review your design. That's where you're going over your model for checking against, like you see marks in injector marks and that. Then when you've checked that, you put a primer coat on that saying I'm finished with the build. We have a similar thing for certifying a building. So that's that. Then you're in your painting phase, where you're going through that, and at various points you're putting down your gloss coats, and that's like, okay, you go out to site, inspect this little bit, write your report, and it's like, okay, that's good, or that needs to be fixed. So yeah, it goes through, and then your final coat, like your matte coat or your gloss coat for cars, like that's your final sign off. For kind of similar for a building, we have a form of certification for that. So yeah, so for me, like a lot of it is like whatever I'm working on at work, because it'll use the similar parts of the brain as I do for hobbies. So to like avoid burnout, if I'm doing something complicated and intricate at work, I have to do something simple in the hobby.
Right.
So like a simple plane.
Yeah.
Whereas like if things are like really simple at work, like okay, maybe I can bust out the photo etch for that ship, or have a go at the rigging.
Yep.
So
Okay.
So like so I have like I always have two projects on the go, one hard, one easy. So that depending on what I'm doing, I can just bounce between those two at home to avoid burnout.
So here's a question for you, and I've been meaning to ask Will Patterson this, because he's an engineer. He comes from an engineering background, I should say, and he obviously, during his build, he applies the engineering side of his brain to the build. But when it comes to the build's completed and he's doing the weathering, he applies sort of the artistic side of it. And I'm wondering what it's like to be able to do that sort of switch mentally, because I guess if you're Yeah.
Okay, so there's a quote by Ove Arup that explains this, and for those who don't know, Ove Arup is the engineer behind the Sydney Opera House,
Right?
And yeah, his company these days is a big multinational one. It's let me remember this correctly. Science without dreaming is calculation. Art without science. No, hang on. Yeah, art without science is dreaming. Science without art is calculation. Engineering is the practical combination of both.
Huh.
So at all times you're keeping your science brain for like what's physically possible, and like how the laws of physics applied. But at the same time, you're keeping in mind of like your artistic of like and the creative side
and the aesthetics.
The aesthetics, which most of that is like done by others in the team, but you have to consider like this bit of my work is not going to be covered by finishers, so I do have to take some care in how this bit's finished. So yeah.
So is there like any like special training you can do with your brain to get to that point?
Gee, I don't know.
Kind of. Well, there are very much like two opposite sides. So like you develop them separately, and then slowly bring them together and find balance.
Not being a brain surgeon, but your artistic side, you're using one side of your brain, and your building side using the other part of your brain, or I'm pretty sure that's how it works, is it not?
Something like that. Yeah.
So it's pretty hard for you, Ian, because you only got half a brain.
I'll let that one slide at the moment.
Oh God!
Wow.
Jeez, I'm good.
Good? That's what you call good.
Pretty sad.
That's cruel.
What I personally find what slows me down in the build is putty.
Oh.
When I have to putty something, I won't touch that kit for over a week.
Depends what putty you use, though.
Because I find all putties shrink.
Yeah, see, I've found a way around that now. So
Yeah, me too.
what's that?
Stretch sprue.
Well,
I gave up.
After watching that Rob Riv video on YouTube from Scale Insanity, or Insanity Scale, Rob Riv, our good mate Rob.
Yep.
He had a little tutorial on using stretch sprue. And I've heard people doing it and say, but actually watching his little video, it was like, is that all? Is that all I have to do? And started using it on the Emden, and it's amazing.
I think
no
it's
shrinkage, and by the time you finish sanding it, it's smooth. It just blends in.
Yeah. I on my rockets, I'll use styrene rod if I've got a seam, and I'll sort of V the seam.
Yep.
And then glue the styrene rod in there, and then sand it flat, and it just disappears.
And it disappears altogether. There's nothing.
But the other way too, I've just recently got some resin paste, and I'll smear the resin paste into the part that I want filled, and I'll smear it smooth with something like an old like credit card or something, a bit of plastic, and I'll hit it with the UV lamp, and bang, it's done. I don't have to,
just a white sand to clean it up.
Because you're right about the old putty where, if you don't leave it for a while and the shrinkage.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than building a really nice kit and it looks great, and 6 months down the track you're looking at the cabinet and you got seam lines back again.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of models, examples like that in my
that drives
cabinet.
me bananas.
Well, the other side of that, like no one's going to pick up on that if you're taking a photo and putting it on online, because like the size of your screen's like you'd have to zoom all the way in to notice that. Or you'd have to provide a close-ups, and you can just careful photo selection.
You say that, but I see flaws like that all the time on the internet. Like I saw someone post up a Gundam build a while back, and he's a pretty good guy, but this work seems so sloppy by him because it had a really, really obvious silver decal on it, on the leg. Like really obvious. Like if you'd put on the table, it'd be, at any show, it'd be like almost the only model that bad in the entire show. It was that bad. It was really, really bad.
Well, that's
like, how did you miss that? The rest of your work's normally pretty good.
I don't know. Maybe they've got a different sort of attitude to model building than what we do, the Gundam builders. So
No. This was just a clear, like, he must have just gone, I don't give a crap about this model.
Okay, all right.
Like, really
Far
really out. It'd be the equivalent of, like, someone of, say, Ian's reputation and known for quality of build and everything, and then suddenly he just puts out a photo of a model where it's got, like, some really, obvious error that he would normally absolutely take care of. It seems like a real lapse in care.
Just phoned it in.
Yeah, I guess so.
God damn.
Either that or his eyesight just fell off a cliff,
Mm-hmm.
I've just found on my headset cord where the dog snuck in here and chewed my bloody cord.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got to fix that.
Oh, no.
Damn dog. Woot. Get a puppy, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Hey, you're the one that did it, mate.
Leaving doors open.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realise he snuck in here. I'm going to have to...
Yes. So, anywho,
Yes, sorry.
back to the subject.
Yes.
Well, so we're going back to the subject.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you had something
No,
of wisdom to say.
No, I'm listening in.
Yeah, well, I'll pick up where we left off.
Yes.
Just continuing on with Julian. The reason is the reason why you're like getting so up about this is like because like you're seeing someone who's like produced at master's level, but they've produced something that's at low level.
Well, it's really low. Like, I mean, I would say being able to put down decals without silvering is core, right?
Yeah, but I think Alex was saying, does this guy normally build at master level? And he's just...
I'm not sure. I mean, like, everyone has a different idea of what master level is, but I mean, I think, he has the skills to win a competition around here.
Mm-hmm.
But not with that.
Yeah, but sometimes I build and I go, yeah, I'll just slap it on. Sometimes...
No, I don't.
No, sometimes I'm building just to do the build and I don't necessarily care how it's finished. No one else is going to see it.
You're just enjoying the journey.
It's just going to sit in my little cabinet. I don't care if there's silvering. I'll try not to silver. If it silvers, I don't care because it's just...
No.
Doing it to...
Look, this is to the point where it'd be like, okay, let's say you've built a rocket. No, you've built a ship.
Yep.
And you not only did you stuff up the boot line, you left it off.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well,
see, you get what I mean? Like, it's really like out.
Super
It's almost out of character for the person.
Yeah. Okay.
And it would be like, for example, with Ian, an example. What's a good example? What's something that you takes a? I'm trying to think of something that you're a stickler for.
He's chipping.
No.
He is on his tanks. He does his chipping very well.
He doesn't build that many tanks, do you? I think
a
I've
few armor
Not a
kits.
couple.
No, I haven't seen you build an armor kit in a very long time.
I built one this year. I built that little Sherman.
Oh yeah, the
You built
48.
48 scale
Am
Sherman.
my brain? Is
For
my
the
brain
48-hour
right?
build, I built the Sherman.
For the 48-hour build,
Yeah.
it didn't
Oh,
occur
it's
to
got
me.
chipping and everything on it. Mud effects, the whole kit and caboodle. Went crazy on it.
Okay.
It's like him doing his rigging. It's his
rigging. That's right.
Yes.
He's a real stick for rigging.
Yes.
For rigging, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like you ran out of rigging and you just use a piece of twine or something.
Oh, cotton, the old cotton, black cotton.
And you didn't you didn't even use black. You used green,
Oh.
right? And you think, what went wrong there? Did he have like a brain aneurysm or something? Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I got onto this, but I got there nonetheless.
You did.
And yeah, I mean, I can't tell you, like, it's not like some eagle-eyed person just picked up some silvering, No, this is really obvious. It looks like it's about to fall off the model.
Like the old Italeri kits.
It's
I
yeah.
remember, was it back in the 70s? I think it was Italeri Eschi, the decals just had a habit of just falling off. Put them on, and then a couple of weeks later, there'd be all these decals just around your aeroplane on the.
I remember Hamish. He told me about how he decaled a model and then he left it there to settle, and when he came back, they'd all fallen off the model.
Yeah. It'd be probably an Eschi kit. Eschi were renowned for really bad decals back in the 70s and 80s.
Well, don't live in that area.
That's like I bought an Italeri kit once and I opened it up and there was a Hella kit inside.
Well, lucky you.
That's the game you play when you messed with your classic reboxing
But
companies.
I feel so dirty after something like that.
Italy,
I feel like I've been
Academy,
Why?
Revell.
Hang on. How can you feel dirty about that when you openly went out and bought a Mac 3 kit?
Well, I knew what I was getting with a Mac 3 kit.
Yeah.
I expected it to be
A lump
what
of
it was.
plastic.
Yeah, well, it's not even plastic. I'd argue that point. And
That's what it was, a Bakelite.
but to see this beautiful sort of aircraft in box art. I think it was a water bomber.
You know what?
It was a CL water bomber, and I bought it. Going, it looks really cool. The box art sort of sold me. And he opened it up, and it says "Hella" stamped on the sprue. And I go, really?
I think almost everyone has some regret where they bought a kit based on the box art, and then they opened it up, and then
Yes, we've all been in that, haven't we? Yes.
Yeah, it's very much a case of I set my expectations up here, and the expectations weren't met. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's part. And another part of like perhaps getting yourself out of like these rabbit holes is like just up front, like what am I expecting from this kit? What am I expecting from like the effort that I'll put into that? And if the expectations have met, and it's like okay, good, you've done enough. Let's move on.
You know, since you build 700 scale ships, do you ever sort of buy something based on the box art, and then obviously inside the box is a 700 scale ship, which is going to be vastly simplified compared to whatever the box art is, right?
I mean, kind of. I kind of have that with my current 700 scale project. So I got the RMS Titanic from Hobby Boss.
Yep.
The new tooling one. And it's basically their big 200 scale one in Trumpeter, like similar parts, just scaled down.
Right.
But in the instruction, so in the instructions for the 200 one, you have like all the rails, which they've provided the photo etch for. There's no rails in the 700 scale.
No, of course, that'd be way too small.
Yeah, and similarly with all on the upper decks, all like the doors and windows and furnishings around that. In the 200 scale, it's done. All of that's done in photo etch.
Yep.
In 700, it's done in slide molding. Still very good.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get to like the rigging, and the 200 scale has your full rigging set, whereas in 700 they just give you the masts, despite the box art showing here's the rigging, here's the rails.
Yep.
Like, rigging and rails don't like there's no guides or instructions for that in the 700 scale. That said, the quality of the plastic is like very good, and I'm having a lot of fun.
I can't remember what brand it was, but I know someone who bought. I think it was the Akira. Is it the Japanese carrier?
Akagi.
Yeah.
Akagi. And you know how like it's got that forward section where underneath the deck, there's like a huge like sort of structural area with all these beams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Because like the actual hull only comes up so far. I think it's like halfway between the deck and
it's a converted battle cruiser.
Yeah. So it's got all that structure there, and I remember thinking, oh, that is so cool. And they bought like the photo etch for it to do it, and you know you see like the photos of the photo etch, and it's all this beautiful structured type stuff that goes under there. But obviously, if you were and the way the pose was on the box art, it showed a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then you open up the box, and it's this tiny, 700 scale carrier.
Yeah.
And obviously, all that structural stuff is pretty basic.
Well, it's even basic in the 1350.
Is
I've got the I think it's Hasegawa.
I thought you bought it. Yeah, you did buy it, didn't you?
Yeah,
and you bought all the photo etch for it as well?
Except I'm trying to find the front section of photo etch. Because sometimes finding photo etch for these ship models is very difficult.
Because the photo etch sometimes comes in one or two or three parts. It's not
for example, a
one
lot of
part.
the Fujimi kits, the only photo etch you can buy is official Fujimi photo etch.
Yep.
And like you're paying $70 for one sheet.
Yeah.
And And like when I remember doing the Shikaku, I think I ended up buying about 6 or 7 sheets, $70 a sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, you just reminded me of how I bought you a whole bunch in Korea. They had like the whole set for a certain ship, and I asked you if you wanted it.
Yeah, that was the Akagi.
Oh, that was the Akagi. Okay.
Yeah. And you got me all the Akagi bits.
Okay. Oh, what a coincidence.
That you could find, and that's the one bit you didn't find is the bit that you just can't get your hands on.
Wow.
And that's that's sort of thing that holds me back.
Yeah.
Like I don't like starting a project unless I have everything there.
Yeah, I agree there.
As everyone knows, I use a PowerPoint, an Excel spreadsheet, and I have my kit. Then I have next to it, I have what scheme it's going, and then on the sides I have 2 columns of like interior or exterior for extra details.
Like, it makes sense.
Once I section that whole section in green,
you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. The problem is most of mine are either in yellow or blue or white because I'm still finding bits. And then when I found everything...
Can't you just build something out of box? Are there any... Like car molds, so surely?
No.
You can't build car molds out of box?
Well, you look at those Aussie muscle cars I bought. Every one of them I bought 3D resin printed parts.
Okay. For. Like I understand. I get that because the aftermarket is there. But surely... I don't know about you, but I like building out of box just because I know I don't have to chase anything down, and I know
out of box for me would be probably one of my figure models,
right? Because like for me, it's refreshing to be able to just grab a simple kit, not have to worry about super detailing.
Yes,
super detailing is off the table from the get go.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's because like that's how subs are for you a lot of the time,
and
right?
rockets,
and rockets,
absolutely, yeah.
Submarines, I'm like that. I don't usually put any aftermarket on subs.
And science fiction stuff, if you're not lighting it up, that's just straight out of the box.
Yeah, I mean you can see the finish line from the starting line. Is how I feel about it.
Yeah, I that really resonates with me.
That's good. The opposite of the super detailing side of things, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but again, it's really like
that's avoiding the rabbit hole completely.
Yeah, that's the easy way to solve a problem is to not give yourself the problem in the first place.
I mean that sounds like me.
Okay. All right, let's bring this home.
Okay, how do you want to do
Right. Well, first of all, I want to ask Alex, so when you're heading back up you're hanging around next week for Model Expo?
Yes, I'll be hanging around Melbourne for the week and then going to all 3 days of the Scale Expo. So,
all right.
And then heading back up to Brisbane after that.
Well, awesome. So I'll be there on Friday night, and I think I'll be there on the Sunday as well, on the Monday. Probably the Monday. Yeah. Not too sure. But I'll see you there. That's cool.
Yeah.
So first time for Model Expo?
Yeah, for first time at Model Expo.
Excellent. So, all right. Good. Ian.
Yes. Adios, everybody.
Oh, gee, that's nice and simple. Gosh.
See ya. I mean, I'm going to be... You know what?
What?
I think I might want to unload my my Tirana on someone else too, and then find something new. I just want to start like this weekend. I want to start something new. That's what That's what I'm going to be doing.
Start something new.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the dog's gone up to the vet this afternoon, so I can get in and do some modelling without the door getting scratched or the pup running and chewing anything up.
Yep. Yes. Likewise.
Alex, it's been awesome having you down, and it's been awesome to have you on the show. It's fantastic what you did to get here, and on behalf of the guys from Models for Heroes, I can't thank you enough for what you did to sort of get to where you are, to get here today, and it's been fantastic meeting you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been great meeting you guys, and Models for Heroes is a great cause, so. Happy to be
looking forward to next year.
And
yes.
Of course, now you've seen behind the curtain how the podcast works.
How dysfunctional we are.
Did it meet your expectations? Did you have something different in mind, or did you?
Did it feel? Does it feel like we plan more than we actually do? Because you can tell that there's not a lot to this, really. We rock up, we eat breakfast, and then we just start recording, and it's very off the cuff.
Yeah, kind of. I do have a notes app on my phone. I was like, okay, let's just do like regular episode. These sort of things. I plan like, okay, like I could do this introduction. Then Dave sits down like, okay, Alex, do you want to do the introduction this way? That lined up almost exactly with how it line things up. So
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, overthinking can be a pain in the stern sometimes, but it has its moments.
Yeah. You know, I mean, often I'm sure you noticed that when we were having breakfast, there are a lot of times when we start just yakking away, and then it's like, oh crap, let's not talk about that. We'll talk about it on the podcast, because the first time you talk about something is usually the best way. It's the most natural, and that's how we like to do it. We don't want to script ourselves by having had the conversation prior. And that's why I've got absolutely no problems going, oh, Dave, we talked about this previously outside the podcast, but, you know, we'll talk about it here now kind of thing. I have no problems doing that because it's the way it really is, you know?
Yep.
100%.
Off the cuff.
I mean, it's better to ad-lib. That way your brain's just coming up with things on the spot rather than remembering how you did it before. And then,
like that cracker I made about car modelers, which was just a joke. Please do not send me hate
I
mail.
mean, I'm the car modeler in question, so if anyone was going to object, it would be me, but I don't care.
Any hate mail can be directed to your nearest brick wall.
Yes.
Speaking of mail, so don't forget to send us an email to onthebench64@gmail.com. Check the link in the show notes for the SpeakPipe access, so you can actually leave us a live voicemail so we can actually hear what you sound like.
Yep.
And we'll be back in a fortnight, which will be after Model Expo, so we'll be able to have a bit of a chat about what we saw there. And again, Alex, thanks very much for coming down and joining us on the show.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show, and don't forget there is a whole host of other wonderful podcasts for you to listen to, I should say. Just go to modelpodcast.com. It's a listing of all the scale modelling podcasts from around the world for your listening pleasure. Thanks for being with us, and we'll be back with you in a fortnight.